Hey everybody, Brett Mix here. Welcome back to the Monday Night Wars. This is week 48. This was the 176th Raw episode in its history. It went on the USA Network from the Wheeling Civic Center in Wheeling, West Virginia on September the 16th, 1996. Ratings for this Raw were a 2.1. Nitro got a 3.7. So WCW wins for the 12th week in a row. Now after this week's loss, the total scoreboard is for WWF is 17 wins, 29 losses, and 2 draws all time through the 48 weeks of the Monday Night War. And that Raw that lost this week, drew 2.1, was brought to you by Kevin Kelly, Jerry the King Lawler, and Jim Ross. They talk about the IC title tournament to open up the show, and Kevin Kelly says MindGames is this Sunday on pay-per-view, and we will hear more from Bret Hart and a possible return of Razor and Diesel by Jim Ross for next week. But Jim Ross says that they will return. Now we get the debut of the Sultan with Bob Backlund and the Iron Sheik taking on Jake the Snake Roberts. The Sultan makes his WWF debut. Of course, this is Rikishi, who's already been seen in the WWF as fought too. But he's the Sultan in this new character. Jake chased Lawler from the ringside to with the threat of the snake, so Mr. Backlund took his spot on commentary. The Sultan apparently had his tongue cut out and can't speak, according to Lawler. That's how they delivered the character. The Sultan's arm controlled by Jake, and then he goes for an arm wringer, and then Sultan cornered the snake, and then hit a headbutt, and Jake got shot up top. The Sultan goes for more shots in the corner to Jake. Lawler throws something, airport liquor, those little liquor bottles from the airports. He throws one at Jake, and Jake gets confused, and Jake gets distracted, and it made it easy for the Sultan to slap on a camel clutch. When the camel clutch was slapped on, Jake had to give up at 3:04, tapping out to the Sultan. So the Sultan was victorious. I rated it at 3/4 of a star. Just a 3-minute match with the Sultan defeating Jake the Snake. Next up, we have the Smoking Guns with Sonny taking on Bob Holly and Alex Porto in a non-title tag match. Nice arm drags from Billy Gunn to Bob Holly. He worked on his arm with the arm bar. Porto worked over as good tag continuity by the Guns. Good tag continuity by the Guns and worked as a cohesive unit. Continuity. That's the word. Porto with an inside cradle on Billy Gunn, who slaps Porto on the corner. By Gunn and Billy sets up Holly with the leg drop. Then the Smoking Guns got reversed. Prior to the match, Jim Ross, who left ringside earlier in the broadcast, returned with Pat Patterson, who verified Ross's claims to have Diesel and Razor Ramon on the show next week, and said he would be the guest referee for the tournament finals for the following week with Pat Patterson. Since he's the first Intercontinental Champion, he's going to serve as the guest referee. Then, on a split screen, WWF President Gorilla Monsoon argued during the match that Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, naming those names, would not appear, but that Ross is misleading the audience. In the end, Holly defeated Billy Gunn with a roll-up after the champions became distracted by Owen, Davey Boy Smith, and Jim Cornette at ringside. The Smoking Guns defend the tag titles against Owen and the Bulldog at MindGames in your house, so Owen and the Bulldog thought they'd get a front row seat, and they were distracted by them, and all of a sudden this team, Alex Porto and Bob Holly, ended up beating the champions in a non-title match, but they were distracted by the number one contenders at ringside. I gave the match a 1.25 stars. Cornette and Vader next came to the ring and cut a promo on Jose Lothario. King said he was the only person who had an autographed copy of the Bible. That was a good one. Cornette had a public workout with some independent wrestler, and they showed that Cornette could lock up a few times. He got an arm bar once. He got a wrist lock the second time. He got a headlock the third time. The Wildman Mark Merrow with Sable took on Owen Hart in the IC tournament semifinals. Sorry. That was after an HBK promo. Shawn Michaels came to the ring and was interviewed, and Shawn Michaels said that he's going to take Mankind down at MindGames. The Wildman Mark Merrow then faced Owen Hart in the semifinals. Handstand reversal into two arm drags into a drop toe hold by Mark Merrow as he started really fast with Owen. into an armbar by the Wild Man. Mero sent Owen shoulder first into the corner and then torques his arm. Owen came back with a swinging neck breaker to Mero, and then up top a missile drop kick, a lateral press, and a near fall. Owen then gets a side headlock on Mero. Mero with an inverted slam back to Owen. Mero off the rope, ducks a clothesline, and Owen clubbed Mero with his cast, taking him to the outside. He told the ref he wasn't using his cast when the ref asked. Mero with an atomic drop and a back body drop to Owen, landing another drop kick. Mero throws Owen to the outside and hits a SummerSlam plancha, flying over the top rope to the floor. Mero with a springboard corkscrew back into the ring, over the top rope, onto Owen. Owen and Mero collide together and then they bump into each other. Owen takes his cast off and the ref didn't see it, and Owen nails Mero but only gets a 2 count. Owen can't believe it, and the Wild Man takes his cast and hits Owen in the head. The referee doesn't see that. And this time Mark Mero gets the win and is victorious with a cast shot to Owen. At 9:26, Mero got the win after pulling Owen's cast off and hitting him with it. So Mark Mero goes to the finals of the IC title tournament, while Owen Hart is left there without a cast. That's the last time you'd see Owen Hart with with his cast. Mero destroyed it after the match. I rated the match 2 stars and 3/4. I thought it was really good. Just not great. It could have been pushed toward the great category if it was a bit longer, but only 9.5 minutes. Farouk Assad with Sonny took on Psycho Sid in another semifinal match. So the winner of this faces the Wild Man Mark Mero next week on Raw in the finals of the tournament, which will be refereed by Pat Patterson. Farouk with a shoulder block and Sid with one. Neither man budge. They both have a shoulder block off the ropes, and neither man display of power knocked the other one down. Farouk kicks Sid in the midsection and slams him to the mat. And Sid steps up and hammers away at Farouk when he gets back up. Sid with a bunch of shots to a surprise Farouk, who was expecting Psycho Sid to be down on the mat from a scoop slam, but Sid backed up, walked back up, and Farouk turned around and Psycho Sid was standing right there. Sid then ran and hit a running clothesline on Farouk. He turned him inside out with the hard clothesline to the fans' liking. Farouk is dominating Psycho Sid in the mid-match as he gets the advantage after hitting a spinebuster. Farouk then goes for a dominator, but Psycho Sid chokeslams him as he lands on his feet. Sonny comes onto the apron and Farouk levels Sid with a chair, and he gets just a 2 count when the referee counted it. Sid gets revenge on Farouk as he grabs the chair and hits him 3 different times. So Farouk advances into the finals of the tournament for the IC title. Farouk wins by disqualification after Sid hit him 3 times with the chair. So Farouk will take on the Wild Man Mark Mero next week on Raw for the IC title, and Pat Patterson will be the referee. I rated the main event of Raw, that tournament match between Farouk and Sid, a star and 3/4. The show closes with The Undertaker giving one final promo to Goldust. Then in the Boiler Room, Paul Bearer and Mankind talk about becoming WWF champion. Shawn Mankind in the Boiler Room shows his half an ear, and he said to Paul Bearer, "If I beat Shawn Michaels at MindGames, will I be a sexy boy?" And Paul Bearer even says something about sexy boy and boy toy too. And he says he likes it. He likes it in the Boiler Room because Paul Bearer's sweating a ton, and he says he likes it in the Boiler Room, and that's his new man, Mankind. So he's going to be used to it in the Boiler Room. This episode of Raw scores a quality rating of 5 out of 10 because Owen and the Wild Man put on a good match. Sid and Farouk was entertaining enough in the tournament. JR saying Razor and Diesel would be here next week had the little fan in me really believing it, and I excited for it. And I thought it would really happen when I was younger. I thought the real deal would happen. Hearing from Bret Hart was good at South Africa for a change. He called Brian Pillman and Owen Hart liars that he wouldn't be in your house, and they keep saying he was going to be in your house, and that he's a changed man. They lied about that. So Bret Hart called them out on being liars and said that he'll talk about his future soon because he misses his fans. The show drew a 2.1. Again, Nitro drew a 3.7. So 5 out of 10 Raw, 2.1 in the ratings. Not very good. Pretty average numbers. We'll see what happens next week after Mind Games in your house. I'm Brett Mix. Hit like and subscribe. Thanks for watching the reviews, and we'll see you on the next one.